Okay, so this video is part 2, talking about a 2006 Ford F150. This vehicle came in for chugging when you're taking off and chugging when you're slowing down. What it's doing, or what it was doing, has early torque converter clutch applied. Torque converter clutch was applying right on top of second gear. So in part 1 we showed a bad torque converter clutch solenoid. And we tested it against the new one, and we thought that was going to fix it, right? So we put a solenoid in, but guess what? It does the same thing, same problem. How can that be? Makes you wonder why you're in this business, right? Well, obviously there's more than one thing wrong with it. The torque converter clutch solenoid was just one thing that was wrong. So we did some more research on this thing, and let me show you what we found wrong here. The second time. Okay, so we did some research with our Snap-on Solus tool, and we looked in the troubleshooter, and you can see that there is a tip for it, and this tip is right here. Complaint. Customer complains of an early torque converter clutch or TCC applied. Wow, I can't believe it. They got a tip on this thing. So we read about this thing, and we know it's not a bad command because we watched it on the scan tool. We know that the transmission is doing it on its own. So as we read through, it talks about, the first thing it talks about is early TCC apply may be caused by a sticky TCC solenoid or a sticky valve or damaged number 7 check ball. Number 7 check ball in the valve body. Okay, so we took the pan back off. And this time we went a little bit further, we took the valve body down. And when we took the valve body down, we went over and looked at the number 7 check ball. And this is a breakdown of the valve body right here. And as you can see, that all the check balls are number 7 right there. That's where it's located in the valve body. And this is what we found. So this is number 7 check ball right here. Now it looks like a regular ball, but actually, if you look at it really close, there's a piece missing out of it. Maybe I'll see a little bit better right there. So what these check balls do is they have to seal against the separator plate. While we had the valve body down and we found a damaged number 7 check ball, of course we went ahead and changed all the balls in the valve body because these things have a tendency to shrink up and get damaged over the life of a vehicle, of the transmission I should say. We also went ahead and checked the bypass clutch control valve, because that was another thing it mentioned in the troubleshooter tech. And the bypass clutch control valve is number 41. So we took that out of the valve body right here, 41, that's the lineup right there. And we made sure that was nice and free. There was no problem with that, mainly with the check ball problem. So now we're going to drive it and we're going to confirm the repair. You know, to make sense of this thing, probably what happened is the solenoid went bad. That was probably the, what came first, the chicken or the egg? We're thinking the solenoid went bad, and the vehicle was probably driven that way for quite some time, which means that the vehicle was probably driven that way for some time, which means that, it wasn't working right, and that it wasn't working right, pressure was being applied to a check ball when it shouldn't have been, and that may have damaged the check ball. So we think the solenoid went bad, and as a result of that, the check ball got damaged, and we had to repair both of them. So let's take it for a ride and see what's going on now. Okay, we're going to take this thing for a test drive. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at some data here. I've got 4 parameters pulled up. I've got the gear that we're in, transmission's being commanded. I've got the TCC slip, the TCC percent, and the TCC whether it's off or on. Now what you want to look for on this thing is what was happening before is as soon as this transmission hit second gear, the TCC percent would stay 0. In other words, the solenoid would stay off. However, the TCC slip would go to 0. Now, you want that slip when you put it in gear. Right now I'm in park, but when you're in gear, let's go ahead and put it in reverse, back up. You'll notice that TCC slip is really high. That's because the converter clutch is off right now. Now when that TCC slip goes to 0 or 1 or -1, somewhere around there, that means the clutch is on. So what was happening is when this thing went into second gear, as soon as it hit second, that TCC slip went to 0. Even though the solenoid stayed off, the clutch was on. And when it did that, it gives you the early TCC apply, the chuggy, luggy kind of sensation, which you really don't want to feel. At least you don't want to feel it in a 06 Ford F150 when you're driving it anyway. So that's what was going on. Right now we're going to take it for a ride and we're going to see what happens now. So basically that slip should stay high until that TCC percent solenoid is commanded on, and it goes on. The TCC percent solenoid goes up to 100%. TCC solenoid percent goes up to 100, and then the slip goes to 0. Okay, we're going to know if this thing is fixed as soon as it hits second gear. So we're in first gear right now. We're pulling out to do a road test, and we hit second, and our TCC slips are still high, which is what we want. That means the clutch is staying off. Alright, go figure. I'm trying to make a video right in the middle of a monsoon. What other time should I do that, right? Okay, so let's try it again. Second gear, TCC slips stay high, which means the clutch is coming off. Now before, as soon as I hit second gear, those TCC slips will go to 0, and they would stay there. Now they're staying off, so it's working properly now. And you'll see as you get up to speed, you get up to fourth gear. Okay, and as you get up to fourth gear, you can see those percents now are 100%, and the clutch is on. I'm running probably about 45 miles an hour. That's the way it's supposed to work. Now I got my foot off the gas right now, but as I put my foot on the gas and you get those percents up there, you'll see the clutch coming on at 0 right now, which means the clutch is fully applied. Okay, so the vehicle seems to be driving really nice now. And of course, right as I finish the video, the storm seems to be letting up, so go figure, right? So it looks like what we have here is a bad torque converter clutch solenoid, or what we had, I should say. And we had a damaged number 7 check valve. And that was allowing this vehicle to have a torque converter clutch apply on top of second gear. And the customer was, drivability concern was chugging and lugging. And it will also do it as you coasted down. Until you got back into first gear, this clutch would stay locked up and the vehicle would chug and lug. So thanks for watching part 2 of this video. Like, subscribe, and have a very great and blessed day.